Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise in support of my amendment number 39 to H.R. 4394, which prohibits funding from going towards the Supertruck 3 program. According to the Department of Energy, this program is unlike previous Supertruck programs, its primary focus being on electrification and meeting so-called green energy goals rather than improving fuel efficiency. DOE's Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy initially launched the Supertruck initiatives in 2009 with the aim of improving heavy-duty truck efficiency by 50%, while the follow-up Supertruck 2 in 2016 sought to double fuel efficiency for 18-wheeler or Class 8 trucks. Since then, the program has taken a drastic turn away from these goals. DOE has repurposed this program towards the research and development of lowering greenhouse gas emissions. Supertruck 3 was created to fund projects to electrify medium and heavy-duty freight trucks. Mr. Chairman, Americans are tired of their taxpayer dollars being used to fund programs that ultimately cause more harm than good. We simply cannot afford to support programs that share the same fundamental goals outlined in the Green New Deal. They will destroy our economy and force a change in behavior by reducing the availability of the goods that Americans actually want. I urge support of my amendment, and I reserve.
The gentlewoman reserves. The gentlewoman from Ohio seek recognition. For what purpose?
Yes, I rise in strong opposition to this amendment.
Gentlewoman is recognized.
As a daughter of Automotive and Truck America and an aficionado of NASCAR, and having spent a lot of my time on drag strips across the country, including my own region, I really rise in strong opposition to this amendment because it's not about the future, it's about the past. This amendment prohibits funds for the Department of Energy's Supertruck 3 program within the Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy. And the department initially, you know, it's hard to make an engine. It's hard to build, it's hard to conceive of it, it's hard to build it. It takes a lot of creativity to understand the propulsion, all right? The parts of the country that I represent specialize in that. The Department of Energy initially launched the Supertruck initiative in 2009 to improve heavy-duty truck freight efficiency by 50%. 50%. That is a gulp. The second iteration, Supertruck 2, sought to double fuel efficiency for 18-wheeler trucks. Supertruck 3, currently working to improve medium and heavy-duty truck efficiencies and reduce emissions of freight transportation, is underway. And this program consists of a public-private partnership with General Motors, Ford Motor Company, Daimler Trucks North America, Volvo Group North America, and PACCAR. Now, I want America to succeed. I want the free world to succeed. This program is building on a proven track record. Within 7 years, 4 truck makers exceeded the Supertruck 1 goals, and the 5 Supertruck 2 projects are on track to more than double their fuel efficiency. I invite the gentlelady to come with me through some of these companies and some of these research sites to see what it takes to make America more fuel efficient. These efforts help create good-paying jobs here at home and boost American supply chains. Not in China, not in Japan, not anywhere else in the world, right here. Oil prices are on the rise again, and our transportation sector is currently largely dependent on petroleum and thus subject to oil price volatility and what will become diminished supplies in the decades ahead. I don't want America to be stuck on the whims of dictators throughout the world. It's common sense we should be developing energy alternatives and promoting energy proficiency and advancement in our transportation sector. And while it's clear that we need an all-of-the-above energy strategy that taps domestic oil and gas, we must also invest in alternative energy options to diversify our energy portfolio, including hydrogen. Hydrogen fuel cells, where the market is moving, the companies are moving. We need to help to propel that advancement sooner rather than later, and I strongly urge my colleagues to vote against this amendment, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentlewoman reserves.
Would the gentlelady yield?
Members are reminded to direct their comments towards the chair. The gentlewoman from Wyoming is recognized.
Some may argue that this program remains aimed at improving fuel efficiency rather than a repurposed agenda aimed at fulfilling radical Green New Deal priorities. I refer those who would make this argument to a quote from Senator Markey in support of this program. He said, quote, "Climate chaos is the greatest existential threat of our lifetime, and it's going to take an all-hands-on-deck approach to slash pollution, much of which comes from the transportation sector. That is fanning the flames of the crisis. We can use new technologies to chart a path forward and lead the world toward a more sustainable future as we work to thwart the most catastrophic impact of climate crisis." Now, setting aside for a moment the absurdity of the statement, you can tell that it was made by a politician who will never be held accountable for the consequences of such actions or actually be required to live under the rules that he seeks to impose. He will always be able to afford whatever vehicle he chooses, but not so much for the rest of us. But it is not just left-leaning politicians who spout hyperbole and demand net zero emissions by 2050. It is also our federal agencies. Secretary Granholm said that, quote, "Getting to net zero carbon emissions means we must aggressively cut down the largest source of emissions, the transportation sector." Then to highlight this, and she referred to the Supertruck program, she said, "DOE's first two Supertruck initiatives led to a massive leap in fuel efficiency. This new funding triples down on a push towards electrifying trucks of all sizes, along with the efforts to expand EV charging and low-emission car engines." Large-scale use of electric vehicles will not happen unless mandated by the federal government. This is borne out by the figures from the U.S. Energy Information Administration. The fact is that this wasteful spending is absolutely not sustainable, and I urge the adoption of my amendment. With that, I reserve.
Reserves. Gentlewoman from Ohio is recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I yield to the gentleman from Tennessee, Chair of the Energy and Water Subcommittee, Mr. Fleischman.
I thank the ranking
Gentleman
member.
from Tennessee is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thank the ranking member for yielding. On this issue, ranking member Crafter, we agree. While I recognize the current administration has gone too far in pursuing its climate goals, I believe there are aspects of this program we can all support. In particular, the Supertruck program awardees represent the largest producers of medium and heavy-duty trucks in the United States. For these reasons, and for the potential research and development of benefits are still worthy of pursuit. For these reasons, I oppose the gentlelady's amendment, and I yield back.
Gentlelady from Ohio is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I yield back my remaining time. This is a great debate.
Gentlewoman yields back. Gentlewoman from Wyoming has 1 minute.
In Wyoming, we have many instances of EV drivers getting stranded out in the cold soon after charging their vehicles. We had a California driver just a few months ago in Riverton who charged his vehicle enough to go 120 miles but ran out of kilovolts halfway over the mountain, about 60 miles. On this particular occasion, it wasn't even very cold, at least not by Wyoming standards. Had it been in the same spot just a week or so earlier, he would have been stuck in minus 20-degree temperature with 60-mile-an-hour winds. The town of Jackson just realized that paying $1 million each for a fleet of electric buses didn't make them any more operational in our harsh winter conditions, having found out the hard way that they are unreliable and simply will not work at higher elevations and in single-digit temperatures. The point I'm making is that this transition that is being forced upon us by this administration is not only wrong-headed, it's downright dangerous. Mr. Chairman, supporting this program is not supporting fuel efficiency. It is another way to prop up the forced energy transition to unreliable resources. For that reason, I urge the adoption of my amendment, and with that, I yield back.